Welcome to today's Explainer. I want you to picture something truly spectacular. Imagine an entire ancient city hidden deep within the deserts of Jordan. Just picture these massive, towering rose-red sandstone cliffs, catching the warm orange and golden light of a perfect desert sunset. Imagine dramatic clouds overhead, deep shadows filling the narrow canyons, creating this incredibly mysterious, almost cinematic atmosphere. And right there, carved directly into that vibrant rock face in ultra-sharp focus, is a metropolis. This is Petra, the lost city of stone. It's a place that once controlled some of the absolute richest trade routes in the world and mastered engineering centuries ahead of its time, only to, well, mysteriously fade from history. Okay, let's dive into this because, it's really one of the most fascinating mysteries of the ancient world. How could one of the greatest civilizations simply disappear? We're talking about a remarkably wealthy, highly advanced metropolis that was just brimming with life, commerce, and innovation, which ultimately just vanished from the historical record, leaving behind nothing but silent stone monuments. To understand how it fell, we first really have to understand who built it and how it rose to such spectacular heights in the first place.
And that brings us to the brilliant minds behind Petra. This was the capital of the Nabatean kingdom. They were an ancient Arab civilization that did something almost impossible over 2,000 years ago. They didn't just scrape by and survive in a harsh, unforgiving desert environment. No, they completely transformed it into a thriving, bustling hub of culture and international trade. And their success wasn't just a stroke of luck. It was entirely about their strategic location. Positioned perfectly between Arabia, Egypt, and the Mediterranean, Petra sat right at the crossroads of the ancient world's most critical caravan routes.
I mean, think about the sheer volume of wealth flowing through these narrow desert canyons. Merchants were passing through Petra's territory every single day, carrying frankincense and myrrh from southern Arabia, exotic spices all the way from India, silk from Asia, and highly coveted luxury goods from Egypt and the Mediterranean. The Nabateans built an absolutely booming economy off of this. They weren't just letting people pass through for free, they collected taxes and offered vital protection to these merchants, which effectively turned their remote desert kingdom into the beating heart of international trade. But here's the million-dollar question. How do you support a massive, booming city in literally one of the driest regions on planet Earth? Well, this perfectly illustrates their genius. The Nabateans were master engineers. First, they carved miles of intricate water channels directly into solid rock. Second, they built massive dams to control dangerous, unpredictable flash floods. And third, they constructed huge reservoirs and underground cisterns to capture and store that rainwater. They captured, filtered, and distributed every single precious drop. It's an unbelievable system that supplied homes, beautiful gardens, temples, and fountains with fresh water year-round. Honestly, it's an engineering feat that still absolutely amazes modern archaeologists today. So, with all of this immense wealth and their total mastery over the water supply, the Nabateans set about building their capital. But they didn't just build it by stacking stones or baking bricks like most other ancient cities. Petra was quite literally sculpted into the living rock itself. They carved magnificent temples, grand royal tombs, vast public spaces, and bustling marketplaces directly into the sheer cliffs. The buildings actually appeared to grow organically out of the rock, standing as a towering symbol of their innovation and sheer human determination. Now, what's really fascinating here is the treasury, or al-Khazneh, easily Petra's most iconic landmark. Because Petra was such a massive cultural melting pot, the Nabateans were constantly exchanging ideas, art, and technology with merchants from Rome, Egypt, and Asia. And you can clearly see those influences in the grand, intricate carvings of this massive facade. Yet despite decades of modern study, the exact ancient purpose of this breathtaking architectural marvel remains a huge mystery, and it's still heavily debated by historians today. So, how does a city this powerful start to crumble? For nearly 5 centuries, Petra was basically unstoppable, but history shows that even the greatest empires can't escape change. A massive economic shift occurred. The old economy, which was based on those traditional overland desert caravans, began competing with a new economy driven by maritime sea travel. Over time, these new sea routes became significantly faster and a lot more efficient than trekking for weeks across the desert. As merchants shifted their business to the seas, fewer and fewer caravans passed through Petra, causing its once mighty economy to slowly, inevitably weaken. And this shift in trade, that was just the beginning of a perfect storm. Let's walk through the timeline of Petra's fall. First came the loss of political independence. In 106 AD, the Roman Empire annexed the Nabatean kingdom, creating the province of Arabia Petraea. The city did remain somewhat important for a while under Roman rule, but then nature delivered some truly devastating blows. In the 4th century, a massive earthquake severely damaged the city's buildings and roads. Then, in the 6th century, an even more devastating earthquake struck, and this one completely ruined major sections of their incredibly sophisticated water management system. Without the massive caravan trade wealth that had once sustained them, they simply couldn't afford to rebuild. It's a rather somber reality to think about. Families slowly left in search of better opportunities. The once bustling marketplaces grew quiet. Those sophisticated fountains ran completely dry, and the vibrant streets gradually fell totally silent. The magnificent city that had connected entire continents was slowly swallowed by the desert winds, hidden by the sweeping sands, and largely disappeared into history for hundreds of years. And here's where it sounds almost like a movie script. The story doesn't end there. For centuries, Petra remained untouched by time and largely unknown to the outside world. Then we jump to 1812. A daring Swiss explorer named Johann Ludwig Burckhardt set out on a highly dangerous journey across the Middle East. Traveling completely in disguise as a local traveler, he actually managed to convince his local guides to lead him through the secret, winding, super narrow canyon known as the Sick. As Burckhardt finally emerged from that shadowy, claustrophobic canyon, he was met with a jaw-dropping sight. 40 meters, that is the towering height of the magnificent treasury that stood carved into the rose-colored sandstone right in front of his eyes. I mean, just imagine the sheer scale and beauty of a 40-meter-high, incredibly intricate monument suddenly appearing out of nowhere in the middle of a barren desert canyon. His remarkable infiltration and discovery instantly reintroduced Petra to the Western world, sparking a massive explosion of worldwide interest among historians and explorers. Which brings us to Petra's enduring legacy today. Over the following centuries, researchers flocked to the site, uncovering those lost streets, the grand theaters, tombs, and that brilliant water system. In 1985, Petra was rightfully designated a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it was later named one of the new 7 Wonders of the World. Today, millions of visitors travel to Jordan to walk through that very same canyon, and what's truly thrilling is that even after decades of intense research, excavations are still uncovering hidden structures and ancient burial sites, constantly proving just how highly advanced the Nabateans truly were. So, the crucial takeaway here is this. Petra is far more than just a collection of ancient, silent ruins. It is a lasting testament to human creativity, resilience, and innovation. It proves that even against absolutely insurmountable odds, in one of the world's harshest environments, a determined civilization could build a thriving, spectacular center of commerce and engineering that still captures our imaginations thousands of years later. Which leaves us with one final, incredible thought to ponder. As ongoing research continues to reveal new underground structures and sophisticated ancient engineering, we have to ask ourselves, what modern secrets are still buried beneath the sands of Petra? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. The ancient world is full of mysteries just waiting to be unearthed, and I absolutely cannot wait to explore the next one with you.